noise, innovate, and create lasting impact. And today I have my special guest. Of course, he's an entrepreneur, award-winning innovator, and the CEO of Cali Cube, no other than Mr. Jason Bernard.
Thank you for having me, Daniel. Award-winning innovator. I love it. I innovated back in the day with my previous company, Up to 10, and I'm innovating again today with Cali Cube, and it's a lot of fun.
Definitely lots of fun, and thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. Thank you. And today let's talk about the fun and flexible approach of entrepreneurship. Mr. Jason, you've spent 27 years studying what makes some business credible while the other sounds like noise in a world where every founder says they're the best. You've seen what makes customers, investors, and partners either learn in tune out. Your framework is claim frame proof. Seems to draw in a clear line between founders who get taken seriously and those who get ignored. What's the first thing most entrepreneurs get wrong when they try the sounds authoritative?
Brilliant question. Well, the first thing that we all get wrong is we think the machines just understand us. So when I say machines, we're talking about Google, ChatGPT, Microsoft, Apple, Siri. We kind of get the impression that it's so obvious how wonderful we are. It's so obvious all the things we've done. It's so obvious why we're so authoritative that the machines will just see it and understand it naturally. And that's not true. The machines are struggling to make sense of what we're saying online because we're not very consistent with what we say over time. And so what I found was if you're consistent with your narrative and you say, I am, for example, an entrepreneur, an award-winning innovator, a best-selling author, and a renowned keynote speaker, and I'm consistent with that, that is what the machines will understand. So the first thing people get wrong is to say different things across different platforms and indeed over time.
Mm-hmm. So, Mr. Jason, every pitch deck and website seem to say we're the leading or best in class. But you argue that kind of language actually hurts credibility. Why is that? What happens in the mind of a skeptical listener when they hear those overused phrases?
And that's the thing is overused. I think as human beings, we also feel this is when you say the world's leading expert in, which World Authority on Digital and Brand Intelligence, you're showing it there, I do say, you can only say it if you're walking the walk and you can prove it, which comes back to claim, frame, prove. I'm claiming to be the World Authority on Digital Brand Intelligence. That is true if I can prove it. And if I can't prove it, then I'm exaggerating, I'm boasting. And we would be ashamed to say that in front of a human being if it weren't true. And yet we think we can say it to algorithms. So what I'm saying is, if I'm going to say that I'm the World Authority on Digital Brand Intelligence, which I do, I have to prove it. And if you go around the internet and you look on the different resources where I've appeared, search engine journals, search engine land, entrepreneur.com, I've appeared on Google directly, on Microsoft directly. They do agree that I'm the World Authority on Digital Brand Intelligence. So in that sense, I can prove it, therefore I can say it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's super important. It's not very fun, though.
It's a hard work for sure. So let's break down your claim frame proof framework. When an entrepreneur makes a bold claim about their business, what do fundamentally determine whether the claim lands with power or just falls flat? What's missing in a typical approach?
Connecting the dots, really simple. So I just described why I'm the World Authority on Digital Brand Intelligence, and I can provide the proof, which is Search Engine Land, Search Engine Journal, Google, Microsoft, Entrepreneur.com, multiple conferences, SMX West. But the machines won't be able to understand that if I don't explicitly join the dots. So when I say this on this web page, I then link out to the resources on third-party websites that prove and corroborate what it is I'm saying. So the big missing piece is, once again, the idea that the machines are just going to get it, understand it on their own. The truth is, if I'm going to make a claim and then frame it, for example, I'm the world authority on digital brand intelligence, therefore work with me when you want to get your brand incredibly strong in the digital space, I need to be able to prove it. And I need to link to that proof so the machines can explicitly follow those links to the proof that makes sure that they believe me.
Mr. Jason, you have a powerful principle. Aggressive proof beats aggressive framing. For a
Yeah.
founder trying to establish authority in the noisy market, what does it look like in a practice? Is it about having more data or a different kind of evidence entirely?
Yeah, it's a great question, because it's all about the fact that we tend to believe that we are the best in market. And that
Mm.
may or may not be true. But if I aggressively push that mandate, if I aggressively say, I'm the best in market, I'm the best in market, I'm the best in market, I'm pushing a narrative that is quite aggressive. I would do much better to push the proof aggressively. So speak less, prove more. And I think that's true with humans as with machines. And I think we need to remember that AI, Google, these big tech algorithms are incredibly logical. And I've already done this at CaliCube. We've built Cali Nexus and the CaliCube Pro platform, which is based on 25 billion data points. You don't need the 25 billion data points to be aggressive with that proof. But the 25 billion data points in the Cali Nexus platform will find the proof, which allows us to be more aggressive with that proof, and it will join the dots incredibly effectively, algorithmically, so that the machines understand. So we have the CaliCube machine talking to the big tech algorithms with claim, frame, and prove, with an aggressive push on prove.
I like that, Mr. Jason. Speak less and prove them and connect the dots. Connect the dots, people. So many founders are also building a personal brand alongside the company. How does someone prove their personal expertise when they still early stage and might not have a decade of results to point to? Where do you start?
That's a lovely question, because I think we all have more credibility and authority signals than we realize. And it's a question of how we frame things. So that frame in the claim, frame, prove becomes so important. So if I go back to my previous company, Up to 10, and the company before that, WTPL Music, I initially talked much more about the cartoons that we made with Up to 10 and the music that I made with WTPL Music. And when I started in digital marketing, that didn't really help with my digital marketing career. I was a beginner, I was just starting out. But what I then realized is, if I say, with WTPL Music, I worked with EMI and I worked with Warner Brothers. And I worked, when I was with Up to 10, I worked with Disney, and I worked with ITV Studios, and I worked with Samsung. That gives me credibility as an entrepreneur and as a digital marketer. That's from my past career. So when I pivoted, I brought that authority with me, but it wasn't immediately obvious because I didn't frame my previous career in a way that served my current career. So when I say I claim I worked with Disney and therefore I'm a great entrepreneur and I'm a great marketer, that's the framing, and I can prove that I work with Disney. And we come back to that idea of aggressive proof. Once I've claimed and framed, aggressive proof.
Yes, prove it, people, prove it, definitely. And Mr. Jason, let's talk about the minimum viable proof. If an entrepreneur is just starting out and doesn't have a big case studies or a marquee clients yet, where should they focus their energy to build this initial layer of credibility, and what kinds of proof at day one?
What I actually did to build my credibility was I live in France, so I started in France.
Mm-hmm.
And one day I met a guy at a conference, and I just went to the conference, and we were talking, and it's actually quite a nice story because he was collecting business cards, and you put your business card into a big bowl. This is 2015. And then at the end of the evening, he would draw a business card from the bowl, and the one whose business card was drawn out won the mug. And I went to see him, and I put my business card in the bowl, and I said, but there's only me in there, so I'm definitely going to win the mug. And he said, oh, yeah, that's funny, but I wish more people would put the card in there. And I was really, really, really foolish. Is that everybody I talked to for the rest of the evening, I said, this guy's really silly. He's got this bowl and it's only got my business card in it. Therefore, I'm going to win the mug. Ha, 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 aren't I smart? So everybody went and put the card in the bowl.
Okay.
And then the guy at the end of the evening, I didn't win the mug, of course, because there were like 100 people with their cards in the bowl because I talked to a lot of people in any one evening. At the end, he said, oh, thank you so much. I wasn't going to get any business cards this evening, and now I've got 100 business cards, all thanks to you. What can I do to pay you back? And he invited me to give a talk at a conference. And that was where I kicked off. So that tiny moment gave me the first kickoff, and that was 2015. And I was talking in 2015 about brand in digital marketing, brand in search, and brand in, today, AI assistive engines. And my very first talk was about the importance of brand in Google search. And what I then have is this delightful proof that I've been talking about this for 10 years, whereas everybody else has just started talking about it. And it's all thanks to that silly story where I thought I was going to win a mug and I didn't.
What's empowering story, Mr. Jason. You emphasize that the order of operation in your framework is non-negotiable. You can skip steps. Why do so many entrepreneurs fail when they try to position themselves as the thought leader or a visionary before they establish basic tangible credibility?
Which is a lovely question because everybody starts at the wrong end of the business. Is if I want to be a thought leader, I need to publish lots of pieces and be out there and be visible on the biggest possible stages. And, you know, if you can get onto a TEDx and you can get onto the TV and you can get into the major newspapers, great, brilliant. But the fundamental question in Google and AI, ChatGPT, Perplexity, and so on and so forth, that they will recommend you is that they need to understand who you are first. Yes. So we at Calicube work from the bottom of the funnel upwards. Do they understand who you are? Do people searching your name on Google and ChatGPT see the result that you want them to see? If they do, then the machines have understood who you are and how, what you offer and to whom. Then the next stage, credibility, is do they understand that you're better than the competition? If they can understand who you are, they can understand whether or not you're better than the competition. Once they've understood that you're better than the competition, then you can start being a thought leader and pushing your perspective and your narrative and your agenda into the brains of these machines. So trying to inject your agenda, i.e. your thoughts, your thought leadership at the top of the funnel into a machine without that machine having already understood who you are is a pointless exercise. Always start with, who am I? What do I do? Does the machine understand that? Understandability. Next up, do they think I'm the most credible solution in my market? Credibility. Next up, are they going to cite me and my thoughts so I become a thought leader amplified by Google and AI? Visibility.
Mr. Jason, who I am, or who am I? I want to be award-winning podcast host too, like you as award-winning innovator. So tell us, what are your short-term and long-term goals as entrepreneur, award-winning innovator, as a CEO of Calicube?
Oh, well, my short-term goals have just changed, which is an interesting question because 2 weeks ago I would have said something different. My short-term goal is to build the platform that I started building in 2015. So I built CaliCube Pro, which is CaliCube's proprietary platform, and the algorithms, and started collecting data in 2015. And I really love building it. It's a machine that learns to talk to machines. And my machine is the educator of Google and ChatGPT and Microsoft and Siri and the other big tech algorithms. So I'm building an educational machine. It's a teaching machine. And it teaches these algorithms who you are, what you do, who you serve, and why you're credible. That's where my superpower is. So I need to get my team to do the work of delivering the results to our clients, doing the marketing, doing the sales. So my focus is now on building the automated algorithms that will teach the big tech about my clients, who they are, what they do, and who they serve. And my long-term goal is to give the best possible service to the entrepreneurs who want to work with us to manage their personal or their corporate brand, because they understand that with our tech, our data, and our experience, we're going to do it significantly better than anybody else. We're going to get them to be recommended by Google, ChatGPT, and the other engines. And I even go so far as to say, we all want our clients to be advocates. What happens if you make Google your advocate? That's powerful. What happens if you make ChatGPT your advocate? Even more powerful. We can make all of these engines your advocate. That's the key to the future. That's where we're going.
That's the key to the future, and I want that superpower too, Mr. Jason. So good luck to your goals and looking forward for more success. And what will be your piece of advice for those people out there who want to be like you?
Well, right at the beginning, you were talking about fun. And that's something that I have done my entire career. So right now, I've just described to you what I think is fun, building this bonkers machine that educates the other algorithms, the big tech algorithms. And I realized that the last year I'd been looking at sales, I've been looking at how to manage the business. But my strong point, and I think all of our strong points, is always going to be where we're having fun. Where we're enjoying what we're doing, we're going to put a lot more effort in and we're going to get a lot more results out. So my special skill, fun place is building this algorithm. In the company before, up to 10, my special skill was making cartoons and getting them out on Disney and ITV studios. And the job before that, my special skill was making music and getting EMI and Warner to publish that music and to get it out into the market. So focus on what's fun, you'll put more effort in, you'll get more results out, and that's what's going to drive your business. Identify all of the other things that you're not doing, or you're not going to find fun, or you're not going to enjoy, and get other people to do them. Who do enjoy it, by the way.
You need to enjoy what you're doing, people, because even you're tired, you have a dedication to do it in a single day. Thank you for that advice, Mr. Jason. Imagine an entrepreneur listening right now who knows they've been leaning on weak best-in-class language. What is the first audit they should do on their own messaging? Where should they look first?
When we have an entrepreneur who comes to see us to manage their personal brand in Google and AI, so we're not going to create their personal brand for them. They have to have some kind of personal brand in order for us to then take it and translate it for the algorithms. But we find that it often isn't very defined. So one of the first things we do is find out what the AI already knows about them. So we do a huge deep dive using the AI tools to figure out exactly what the AI thinks of that person at this present time. And then we have an interview with them where we go through the facts as understood by the AI, and they can say, well, I don't agree with that, I don't agree with that, this is true, I want to amplify this, I don't want to talk very much about that. And systematically, at the end of that conversation, their brand narrative is significantly clearer for them. And once we have that very clear brand narrative, we can communicate it to the AI. We can educate Google and ChatGPT and Perplexity and Microsoft and Siri and Amazon. So the first thing to do is sit down and existentially say to yourself, what is my brand narrative today? What do I want to communicate to these machines? And if you want to push it a little bit further, say, what's my next step going to be? How can I create my narrative today for the next pivot I have when I sell my company? When I exit, what am I going to do? Can I prepare for that already? And if you can, that's brilliant. And then the third thing is, what is my legacy going to be? What will these machines remember about me when I retire or I die? You need to make sure that right now in their mind, what they're going to remember today is absolutely the most positive thing about you can imagine, because that is going to stick in their brains for the rest of your life and beyond. So start today thinking about, who am I? Who do I serve? Why am I the best today? Where do I want to go tomorrow in my career? And what do I want to be remembered for? And build that starting now.
Right now, people, stop procrastinating, building your legacy to the world and share to the world as well. So, Mr. Jason, here's the fascinating bonus insight you've shared. You track 70 million brands and analyze how Google and AI assistants like ChatGPT decide who to rank. Turns out they use similar logic. What's the one thing every entrepreneur should understand about how the systems evaluate credibility?
They evaluate credibility by, once again, the claim, frame, prove. So you need to dig back into your career and look around you today and define what it is that you have done, achieved, that demonstrates your credibility, your authority, your trustworthiness, your expertise, your experience, all of those aspects. And make sure that you state them very clearly on your own website. Now, not your company website, your own website. Here we're looking at my website. I have a personal website where I state all of the things that make me authoritative and credible. So I have a degree in economics and statistical analysis from Liverpool John Moores University. That's written on my site. I've worked with Disney, I've worked with Samsung, I've worked with Danone, I've worked with Hewlett Packard. All of that's written on my site. All of those are credibility signals. I've had multiple successful clients who have made a lot of money thanks to the services that I've offered them in the past, and Kalicube is offering them today. All of that's on my website. I've won awards. Kevin Harrington, the original Shark Tank, named me as one of the entrepreneurs to look out for in 2026. That's on my website. I won an award of the answer engine optimization experts to watch in 2026, offered by Webflow. That's on my website. So as you can see, I'm building up this case of all these things that make me the credible solution that I want to be perceived as. And then I link, once again, to the proof. And I'm very aggressive with the proof. So my claims and my framing are on my website saying, I claim I've worked with these companies, I claim I've made a lot of money for them, I claim I've won this award, I claim that that I've had 60 years my companies have existed and they've always been profitable. Therefore, I'm a reliable businessman and I'm a reliable marketer. The machines see that story from me, say, oh, wow, this guy sounds really impressive. Do we believe him? No, not just on what he says. However, if I've linked out to all the proof very aggressively, they do believe me and they will say and believe exactly what I say. They will say Jason Barnard is absolutely, provably a great business person, a great marketer who makes a lot of money for his clients.
Definitely, people connect the dots. Connect the dots to have your credibility. So, Mr. Jason, before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people, because my abstract essay is already in sixth season, abstract poetry in a third season, and of course, my book 101 review is sixth season as well, comedy 101 in third season, and of course, my food 101 in sixth season too, geography 101, love letters, movie 101, review music 101, fifth season, science 101, sex 101 in fourth season, and my baby podcast, trivia 101, law 101, mental health 101, motivation 101, entrepreneurship 101, and of course, Bible verses 101. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Mr. Jason, finally, if you could burn one phrase from every entrepreneur's vocabulary and replace it with the first step of your framework.
I would say that entrepreneurs need to focus on being understandable. You need to be clear about what it is you do. You need to be clear about what it is you want. You need to be clear about who it is you serve. You need to be clear about what you want your legacy to be, as you said earlier on.
Yeah.
And that's understandability, but you need to be clear for your audience, human beings, for the people you're working with on your team, and you need to be clear, in my world, for Google, ChatGPT, Perplexity, Siri, Amazon, and Microsoft. Understandability is the word.
Understandability, Mr. Jason BARNARD, entrepreneur, award-winning innovator, and the CEO of IColiCube. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. So can you please invite our listeners to support your advocacy, your business, or whatever project that you're doing right now?
Yeah, it would be absolutely lovely. Go and search for me on Google, ask ChatGPT what it thinks about me, and you'll see how well we do our work. Come along to calicube.com, calicube.com/guides. You can download the free guides or do an AI audit and figure out, and we always tell you exactly what the AI thinks about you, and you can get started on your journey optimizing your personal brand for Google search and AI.
Definitely. Yes, people, let's support Mr. Jason BARNARD, because if he is supporting, for sure, more and more award-winning and innovative rise, and of course, more empowering advocacy will rise as well. So, Mr. Jason, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Daniel. That was lovely.
Likewise. More to come, people. See you soon.